Hey, we are now on to the very end of the year, so we know what time that is. It is time for us to get through this infamous top 11, and there's two versions of it.
Those were up, and they did.
We're smart, and my...
He told me enough.
No, I.
Here's Chuck.
Hey everyone, it's Don G. Corleone here, and I am here with a brand new top 11. This top 11 is going to be for the one we do every end of the year. It's where we count down the top 11 best and worst movies of this certain year. And let me tell you something. This year for movies has been shit. As we all know that. As a whole, though, it's been mixed. But for movies, it's been shit. But this isn't going to be about the worst one. Let's actually do the best one. Let's do the movies that were good or enjoyable. Yeah, here's the films that I did love this year. These are the top 11 films I loved, and we got a few honorable mentions. And before we get started, guys, I did this video a little differently, and this took like a whole fucking day to do. It was kind of exhausting at times. It was kind of frustrating at times. I had to go back and edit some certain things out. Even, this was not an easy process, but I wanted to see how this new process works. So let me know what you guys think of it after we get through the whole 11 and honorable mentions. Until then, let's get started with this list for number 11. Kicking off in 11th place is going to be Killers of the Flower Moon. Newest film from Martin Scorsese. The acting was quite successful, especially by DiCaprio and Gladstone, who play this married couple that get caught in the web of greed and violence. They portrayed their characters with depth and emotion, their chemistry is convincing, and even Robert De Niro was good as the ruthless villain who orchestrates the killings for his own benefit. The subject is realistic and well adapted because it shows the historical and cultural context of the events. The film also does not shy away from depicting the racism and injustice that the Osage faced from the white settlers of the government around this time. The cinematography and production design were impressive as a whole. They create this vivid and immersive atmosphere of the period. It takes on the surface, and the story could have been the straightforward white man steals from the Indian story, but in the hands of master craftsman Martin Scorsese, the movie's much, much more than that. Easily one of his best works, Scorsese lets his story breathe, and it focuses in on the mood and atmosphere of the period and the disparate people that inhabit and battle for the land and the oil. It is the work of this master nearing the end of its tenure, skillfully conducted by the orchestra. It's one last loving, magnificent time. The film is beautifully and skillfully done, the acting is superb, but the thing that would probably keep this film from greatness is probably the lack of levity and some of the characters trying to be sympathetic. The film, though, does have little humor, and though perhaps it's no place for humor in the story, regardless of the criticisms I have, The Killers of the Flower Moon is totally another hit from the legend Martin Scorsese himself. Kicking off in 10th place is gonna be Nimona. This movie was originally going to be the next film Blue Sky would do after Spies in Disguise, but sadly, we all know the assholes at Disney bought Fox, and because they got so scared of losing that precious Star Wars and Marvel moolah, they shut down Blue Sky before they could even finish the movie. But regardless, they lost so much this year anyway, so it was a pointless decision in the end, so good karma for Disney. However, Netflix and some other unknown studios decided to pick up the film rights and they released it themselves onto their platform. And no, they did not restart the whole film from scratch. What was already completed by Blue Sky stayed in the film, and Netflix just finished the remainder of it and gave it the updated animation and touched nothing else. And this movie finally got released to the public and they all really loved every minute of it. You have such gorgeous animation, action sequences, and they all make the viewer feel like they're watching a real graphic novel come to life. It even gets very mature for a family film because it even deals with things like not belonging in a place, government being corrupt, people reacting to real differences, and even literally straight up suicide where Nimona attempts that she sometimes wants for someone to stick a sword through her own heart in literally one scene. Nimona herself is even an excellent character that people can identify with on some level. We first see her as this comedic villain who has many good one-liners, is eager to destroy stuff for her own amusement, and sometimes annoy the hell out of Ballister. But as the film goes on, we see her backstory and how she got pushed away from society before being seen as a monster. Ballister himself even actually is a great protagonist, and the chemistry between the two leads share is very amazing. The end of this movie really provides some good Iron Giant-like flashbacks. Especially, and it's very ballsy in today's world for an animated movie. Nimona is definitely a good send-off for Blue Sky Studios, and I'm glad that Disney got their karma for shutting down Blue Sky. Kicking off in 9th place is gonna be Renfield. I don't care what the hacks on RT say. Renfield was fucking awesome. This was a blast to watch. It's tightly paced, appropriately tongue-in-cheek, action-packed, and surprisingly boasts a good amount of heart. Nick Cage chooses scenery to a wonderful degree, and everyone else gives the best performances they can as well. The comedic timing and tone of line delivery is spot on, and I loved how the dialogue and action sequences are so over the top. Plays the movie an exaggerated reality that should never be taken seriously, and makes it so effortless to ride the wave of campy yet completely constructed fun that the filmmakers and actors were so key to take us on, especially Nick Cage, who had dreamed of playing Dracula for so long. The gore levels expected for a vampire film with a well-made job by the makeup department, especially the FX makeup used on Cage and Holt. And overall, the film is just a sit back, relax, and enjoy. It's simple, it gets straight to the point, it's funny, and it's enjoyable. It's the comeback that the character needed after the failure in 2014 with Universal's Dark Universe. This movie could definitely be a metaphor of all relationships that have hurt us and make us lose ourselves, but Renfield, after many years, realizes he's being taken advantage of by Dracula and decides to live his own life as a free man, which is a great concept. So he does all the cheesy cliches, tries to shake off the victim mentality by buying motivational posters and rearranging his wardrobe, but the true change comes from within, and when he realizes he's stronger than he thinks, he has to basically face off Dracula in order to finally be free from him. If there was a bad quality of the film, it does start off a bit slow at first, but after the opening scene and a few sequences, the movie progresses and it starts to shine really well, and it deserves to have all the praise it has gotten from me and many other few people. Kicking off at number 8 is going to be the Super Mario Bros. Movie, and this was quite a shock. Yes, this movie was probably a big surprise yet. After a mediocre announcement and an alright teaser, Mario for Illumination proved to be a huge hit for them. It broke records, got praise from fans all over the world, and even when it hit streaming, people still went to see this movie in theaters regardless. Some even went and saw it more than once. I really enjoyed Illumination's Mario film. The worry about Chris Pratt that people had was all for naught. He definitely sounded great, and it made sense for the context of the film. All the cast did a great job, and easily. Same goes for Keegan-Michael Key as Toad, Charlie Day as Luigi, and Jack Black are definitely recognizable, and that's definitely not a knock. Their voices fit really well, especially Jack Black as Bowser. Their action pieces are super fun, the jokes mostly land deftly and they really surprise me, and the film is very stunning to look at. Every shot is beautiful, you really buy into their world. The references to the Mario games or just video games in general are perfect and virtually infinite, from sound effects, score, tiny details in the background. It seems for something like every 30 seconds you get a cheeky smirk, and one of the most impressive aspects of the movie is the stunning animation. The characters and environments are brought to life in gorgeous detail, the vibrant colors and smooth movements that capture the essence of the iconic video game franchise. The sound design is equally impressive, and featuring the familiar music and sound effects that fans have come to know and love. And in terms of storytelling, the movie strikes a perfect balance between humor, action, and heart. It follows the adventures of Mario and Luigi as they journey through the Mushroom Kingdom easily. And along the way, they encounter the colorful cast of characters with their own unique quirks and personalities. What really sets the Mario Bros. Movie apart is its ability to appeal to both longtime fans and newcomers to the franchise. It features nods to the games, power-ups, and enemies to iconic locations like the Mushroom Kingdom and Bowser's Castle, and at the same time, it tells a story that is accessible to anyone with well-developed characters and a satisfying narrative arc. If there was a problem though, it's way too short, but hopefully when there's a sequel, we'll have a better runtime when that happens. Kicking off in 7th place is going to be John Wick Chapter 4. Now yes, 2 YouTubers I love, or maybe 3, hated this film because of many elements they didn't like, and not just because of the way it ended. Me personally, I may be one of the few fans of these users that still likes this movie regardless though, of some problems I have with it still. It was a 10 at first, but that score did go down slightly after rewatch. One of the most surprising aspects of this entry is the story being written as well as it is, something that's kind of hard to come by in the genre at times. Like, not saying the others in the franchise weren't, but this is easily the best story diving deeper into high table aspects as well as John Wick's true emotions. The rich characterization is also at its best without outstanding elements like Yen and Brown, and even more screen time for supporting elements like Lawrence Fishburne to complement the magnificent Keanu Reeves, and also rest in peace Lance Reddick. It's nice to have such a substance among the endless high-octane ballistic visuals. Speaking of ballistic, like the movie goes more out than any I've seen in the franchise, such as the well-crafted choreographed shootout and fight scenes. And when you think you've seen it all, Stahelski and Reeves prove their action minds ever evolving. These guys are born to make action movies together. The extreme vibrant colors and plethora of locations is also a feast for the eyes. The sharp atmospheric imagery creates the ultimate backdrop for not only the action but also the dialogue. The sound is even top-notch and perfect complements the intensity. It's just this absolute sensory journey that you don't get in too many action films aside from the Wick genre. The music is awesome as usual, and even a step up a little bit. It enhances every action scene. The cinematography is pristine, and so many beautiful shots, so many mesmerizing locations for the action. It is stylistically beautiful. There's a couple scenes that are definitely shot a creative way that I've never seen before. What is this overhead shot one take that definitely you couldn't believe? It takes the movie to a new level. And there are so many scenes I feel like they're a video game brought to life. Numerous times it feels like the VR games like Pistol Whip, and Donnie Yen is also awesome in this film and definitely the best new cast member of the film. However, there is a reason it's not a 10 anymore, and it's because there are some bad qualities I can agree with. First one being Chiron's send-off being an Alien 3 style death, the scene with Scott Adkins being a little bit too ridiculous, and finally, of course, the infamous scene where John Wick falls down the stairs. Yes, we had the glass scene in John Wick 3, but that was a badass action scene. Here, the stairs scene starts off as an action scene, but once you get to the top and he falls downstairs, it goes all too comedy and has him fall down like Donkey Kong barrels. There are also some who are often split on the infamously controversially received or mixed received ending, either being fine with it or hating it because it had him dying at the end of the film. For me, John Wick 4 honestly was kind of a good send-off to the series, and it kind of sucks we're getting a fifth one, because I feel like 4 was a perfect way to send off the series for me. Kicking off at number 6 is going to be Extraction 2. I had watched the first Extraction film this summer before this movie and I enjoyed it. Then the day after I watched Extraction 2 and I enjoyed it even more. Every once in a while you come across a movie like Extraction that not only exceeds expectations but takes you on a satisfying heart-pounding thrill ride. And then you hope they have a sequel. And a year later discover a sequel was put in production. And it's apprehensive whether or not it will live up to expectations. Then it gets released, and any doubts or fears of whether the sequel can hold account to the original were definitely extinguished. This action-packed high-octane follow-up not only reaches the heights of the original, but it blows it out of the water. The locations are excellent as well, and much of the film takes place in Dona Plata near the famous Danube River. The action scenes in a high-rise building in this area are incredible. The producers didn't even spare anything to make the scenes incredibly realistic, like death, destruction, and mayhem in just one locale. And there's this scene early on where Tyler has hired away the woods, recovering from his injuries. And the split firewood then throws the axe hitting the truck of a tree spot from a distance shades of mighty Thor hurling his previous hammer at the galactic enemy. And furthermore, the chemistry between Goldstein and Chris Hemsworth Tyler Rake is electric. They elevate their on-screen dynamic in new heights, their interactions create a palpable tension, and the shared history between their characters adds an emotional layer to the narrative. And Goldfist's performance contributes significantly to the film's overall impact, in creating memorable moments that rival the captivating presence of Jack Reacher's supporting cast. The Extraction 2 capitalizes the success of the protagonist, Tyler Rake, and introduces a stand-up performance by Goldstein. The portrayal of the characters definitely embodies the spirit of the film. They draw parallels to the captivating supporting characters, and through their exceptional talent and screen presence, Goldstein elevates Nick to a level that resonates with audiences and adds to their overall intensity and enjoyment of the film. And I definitely cannot wait, and I'm more excited that they definitely confirmed an Extraction 3 because I'll definitely be there to watch it when it premieres. Kicking off in 5th place is gonna be The Killer. Another masterpiece from legendary filmmaker David Fincher, who has done it again with The Killer. This movie is based off a comic and it delivers a quiet yet intensely thrilling experience. The precise narrative mirrors the journey of an anti-hero who is portrayed by Michael Fassbender as an emotionless killer who offers an unbelievably well-crafted and triggering exploration of the psyche of the wounded and betrayed character. The film demands patience and an understanding of the story and prepares something that often gets overlooked in modern cinema with the
shift from movies to content. Despite its dark premise, The Killer is infused with Fincher's signature humor and makes one of his most unexpectedly amusing films. It's a movie that manages to comment on modern society's distractions in a way that's both clever and critical. David Fincher is a perfect perfectionist, and the things Michael Fassbender says at the beginning, they sound like mantras that in a different sense are true for Fincher as well. But no matter how well you play something can always and will go wrong. The movie has many different sections, and while Fincher did Fight Club, nothing's going to prepare you for that one fight scene that happens in the movie. He doesn't even know that he had it in him, and it goes for Fassbender and Fincher accordingly. But it's not just the action, it's also the patience. The movie displays, and the viewer has to have, like the first 20 to 30 minutes are quite slow to say the least, but it's about preparation, and it's about, well, again, you could draw comparisons to filmmaking a lot of times, but it's very expertly shot, cinematographed, cut, and edited. As one would expect from such a great director, the action set pieces are very fluid, and it's all around very beautifully put together. The actors do an incredible job, it conveys Fincher's great script accompanying it, and it's expertly paced, going between somber character moments and rather fast-paced. And you can definitely tell Fincher will make many more great movies to come as a filmmaker. Kicking off in fourth place is gonna be Oppenheimer. Guys, it's Christopher Nolan. When has he ever made a bad film? Oh, right. There's some people who hate The Dark Knight Rises will disagree with me. Anyway, Nolan is back and delivers a fast-paced, thrilling biopic that will leave you stunned. The cinematography, the sound design, the score are all exceptional. Even the acting performances is perfect, with Cillian Murphy and Robert Downey Jr. standing out among the cast. Nolan is experimenting with new styles of surrealist and subjective filmmaking to him, and it's so incredible to see from such a seasoned writer and director. He pushes the envelope with Oppenheimer and challenging the audience like never before. The movie even proves that Cillian Murphy is a perfect lead actor. The deliverance and his eye movement are a treat of its own, and I definitely couldn't have picked a better actor to play Oppenheimer. Robert Downey Jr. even shows us that he still can roll with the big boys of the industry, and everyone was also amazing in it. This movie isn't just a story of how the atomic bomb was made, but also how Oppenheimer and the entire staff is scratched and clawed to victory. And as a viewer, you immediately join him on this adventure, and you feel every bit of tension in the film. Oppenheimer's not an easy historical character to play. He's a historical character full of regret and guilt, but Murphy plays this character perfectly. His eyes are filled with those emotions. The way he responds to every other supporting character's utterances is simply outstanding. Even if his only response was eye movement or a blank stare in an uncertain direction, everything can be understood. And also, his body gestures also complement his extraordinary acting. He also plays Oppenheimer's flaws perfectly. He's a pretty selfish and sometimes rebellious guy, also committing adultery with a woman who's not his wife, and has feelings that are very binding with that girl. When the woman's death, you can see Oppenheimer was devastated. And lastly, the cinematography in every angle is taken perfectly, and the practical effects are really pleasing to the eye. And the approaches to Murphy's face in the final scene literally describes Oppenheimer's entire life. The explosion in the movie is really grandiose, and seeing the explosion in the theater was even a delight to my eyes when I saw this in the front row in the theater. And I definitely cannot wait to rewatch this plenty of more times once I am able to get this movie on Blu-ray. Taking off in third place is going to be Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. It is honestly absurd how good the Spider-Verse movies are. Across the Spider-Verse is just as great, if not better, than Into the Spider-Verse. I really don't know how Across the Spider-Verse ended up being even more fantastic. It definitely juggles deeply heartfelt character beats with crazy multiverse content, just packed with so many delightful Easter eggs. I especially loved how in this one Gwen's story got expanded. Her scenes with Shay Wynn as Captain Spacey are truly special. And anyway, even as just one half of a two-parter, the movie is definitely just awesome. If you think you like the style of Into the Spider-Verse, and you got another thing coming with this movie. This movie is so much more than that. It's crazy, it does not disappoint, it boggles the mind how much this stuff can even be animated at all. The visuals have even got to be seen to be believed. Like, every scene has so much going on, and you could even say each scene has its own art style. It goes way beyond what the first movie did, and that's already crazy. The blending of styles on its own makes this one-of-a-kind movie, and it will definitely be hard to replicate. Even now that this creative energy hasn't been released before, because we get some insane stuff nowadays, but when I saw this opening day in IMAX right after my work shift, I was just blown away by what I just saw. The story takes off where the previous film ended. There's some time between though, and you got a story true to the characters, and duty, responsibility, friendship, commitment, love, and with great power comes great responsibility. One of the standout aspects of this film is the ability to strike a delicate balance between paying homage to the original while expanding its universe in unexpected ways. The first movie introduces us to the groundbreaking animation style. Across the Spider-Verse elevates the stakes and explores uncharted territories, pushes the boundaries of what we thought was possible in this genre of movies as a whole. The animation remains a work of art, with each frame bursting with energy, inventiveness, and meticulous attention to detail. We're in a cataloscopy of visuals that bring the various universes to life, to the fluid dynamic action sequences that leave us breathless. Every moment is a testament to the creativity and talent of the filmmakers. Moreover, Across the Spider-Verse even delves deeper into the characters we fell in love with in the first film, allows them to evolve and face new challenges even. The emotional depth and growth of the characters resonates with the audience on a profound level, making us cheer for their triumphs and empathize with their struggles, and it strikes a perfect balance between broad-room moments, thrilling action, and thought-provoking themes, makes it a truly unforgettable cinematic experience. What I do hope happens in part 2 when we eventually are able to get it is that Miguel does get some massive improvement, because they did make him a bit of an asshole in this movie, and I hope that it's a finale that gives the animators enough time to be able to get it done right, because the animators were overworked a little bit. So I hope Beyond the Spider-Verse is worth the wait when it does finally release. Second place is gonna be Zizou, and it's a movie you get when you take John Wick and World War II and roll them into one, and you get Zizou. The movie is an exciting and captivating adventure, with stunning natural landscapes, mystical electrifying action scenes, and lovable characters. It's got a haunting and heartwarming storyline that celebrates Finnish culture and resilience, all while giving off a unique testosterone vibe. It's a brilliantly entertaining action war full of minimal but essential dialogue, brilliant performances, fantastic direction, awesome cinematography, and some of the best blocking you definitely will see in a movie. The film's captivating storyline is creatively woven together with stunning visuals and a hauntingly beautiful score. Finnish culture resilience is written all over it. The pacing is perfect and applause expertly crafted. It takes the audience on a thrilling ride with stunning visuals and heart-pumping action scenes, while also delving into deeper questions about the importance of fighting for what you believe in. There's too many themes within it though, and the cinematography is fab though. It's quite fab plus CGI for the action scenes, but this is to be expected. Some are silly Magna style, but it makes it even more ludicrous and fun and enjoyable, and that's the whole point of this revenge movie. It's pure popcorn cinema, so much raw adrenaline and fun. The fact that the lead protagonist barely even speaks until he cashes his money in at the end is very rare in cinema, and it only adds to its mystique and makes it even more wow. It's definitely not a James Bond film, it's not a spaghetti western, it's not a Quentin Tarantino movie. It's so many different styles rolled into one, and elements are inspired, but the respect for those movies is taken. The credits are Sergio Leone's style. The story theme and blackness of Quentin Tarantino, the soul heroism is from James Bond, but it's also extremely different from all of those. And for a while, nothing could surpass Zizou until one movie this month did. But first, let's get to the honorable mentions.
So, is that the truth or a lie?
A lie.
I thought we have to be a lie too.
Kira's room should be up there. Find the vault. We'll meet you.
You better not cry after 20 seconds.
I'll time it.
Talk to me.
I want a title shot.
Damn. I don't know what you think, but it don't work like that.
Felix so cold. What he got to lose? What you got to lose?
What, you think I could just snap my fingers and make you a contender overnight?
Command confirmed. Goodbye, ma'am. It's been a pleasure to serve you.
Launch! Launch!
Why don't you just tell us where you got these videotapes from? Tell us what they are.
Tu sei venuto qua da solo in questo vigneto in Sicilia. Perché?
You?
I will have you know that I am a perfectly respectable size for an Oompa Loompa.
An Oompa what now?
In fact, in Loompa-land, I am regarded as something of a whopper. They call me Lofty.
And with that, the number one best movie of 2023 is Godzilla Minus One. This is, no doubt, the best Godzilla movie I have ever seen.
Toho's legendary creation proves he still knows Godzilla and does not give a shit about woke crap or agendas. This film had a great story, great themes about guilt and loss, while also having great characters' love and development for them, especially a great sympathetic tragic protagonist. Also, when the Godzilla action is good, it is breathtaking, especially his appearance in Roar. This was even only made for like $15 million, and that's shocking. The pacing and length of this movie is also very perfect. It never slows down, it never disappoints you in the slightest, and the ending sequence with the battle in the ocean is one of the most epic showdowns you'll ever witness in a theater in a very long time. It's a defining example of how cinema works, to entertain its audience and to give them an unforgettable experience in the theater on their visit that night. I definitely cannot wait to see what Toho plans in the future, and I hope we could get more Godzilla films from him over more than any of the legendary stuff any day of the life. Now, don't get me wrong. Godzilla vs. Kong and Godzilla King of the Monsters were great, but this is a Godzilla film that really gets the Godzilla character right. Now, honestly, it even develops the human characters way better than even any of the MonsterVerse films from Legendary Pictures have. So I really cannot wait to see what Toho plans for the future, and I already like this Godzilla better than the Godzilla we're getting in Hollywood.
Alright, and there we go. That officially wraps up the top 11 best movies of 2023. So I want to know in the comments below what you guys thought was the best movies you got for 2023 down below. And keep in mind, guys, we still got the shitty movies to get through. The 11 shitty movies I saw this year for the next top 11. And yeah, I actually decided to do that one last because this year was terrible. But until then, guys, that will be it for this top 11 video. Thank you all for watching. And if you like this, want to see more, and don't forget to subscribe to Don G. Corleone.